It is finally here. On October the 7th, Canva announced they have a new ChatGPT integration. Now, ChatGPT and Canva did already talk. They did talk in two ways. One way was a little bit of a funky workaround, which you don't need to do anymore. And another way is a deep research mode, which I actually love even more than what I'm going to show you today. But I'm going to show you both of these things. So next week, I'm going to teach you the deep research mode, which means that you can actually connect your ChatGPT to your Canva to look through your Canva design, to make summaries or write new information or just kind of refer to things already in your Canva, which I personally love. But today I want to show you how you can use ChatGPT to actually design Canva graphics for you, which is totally wild and I'm so excited to dive in. So let's do it. So hi, if we have not met before, welcome to my channel. My business is all about making sure that you as an everyday business owner can use platforms like Canva and can use design and branding strategically to grow your business, because these things aren't just about making your business look pretty. They're about making you sales and connecting with your audience on that deeper level. If that sounds like something that would support you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on a tutorial. So just a caveat at the start, I firmly believe that AI and design is not where it needs to be yet. It is not something that you can just like pop this in, spit out the design and use that on your social media. I can tell at an instant when someone has used AI to design their posts or their graphics. It looks rubbish, it looks heartless, and I don't like it. But I do think there is a place for something like this where it gives us the foundation and then we build off it. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean today. And just to inspire you and whet your appetite of what is possible for this integration, here are some things you might like to try. Maybe you have had a call with a client and you want to create a summary like pitch deck from that call. What you can do is just plug your transcript straight into ChatGPT, get it to summarize it and create a whole slide deck for you. And then you just need to open that up in Canva, voila. Or you might use ChatGPT to plan out a whole week's worth of social media or a month's worth of social media. Tap, 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 make it to make you some posts. Or maybe you've got a really great idea for a lead magnet for your business and you and ChatGPT can draft that out together, create the content, make some edits, and then say, hey, can you make this into a PDF for me? Now, again, what I'm going to show you today is how you can take these like ChatGPT creations and actually make them into heartful strategic designs for your business. Because I don't just want you to be like, oh, this is easy, plug, play, go. No, we're going to actually use our own brains and our own expertise to make this something that's actually going to succeed rather than just filling up your feed or filling up your inbox or filling up space. So this is the post that Canva put up in early October to say, hey, you now can integrate ChatGPT with Canva. I've got a whole little mini demonstration here. I'm going to take you into how it actually works and actually disagree with something they show here. I don't find that it works exactly the way that they show here. So I'm going to show you what I find works and the limitations that it does have. So first up, you just need to open ChatGPT, chatgpt.com, make sure you have an account. Now, before you start, actually, you don't have to do this yet, but before you start designing, you're going to need to connect Canva as a source. I'm going to do this now, but I'm actually not going to use it as a source just yet. So to add Canva as a source, I'm going to press this plus button, go to add sources, and I'm going to hit across to add. Click on this drop down and it's going to give me some options. You're unlikely to see Canva here. That's okay. Just press connect more. When you press connect more, you can see a whole range of apps you can find. Hopefully you can see Canva here in your little browsing apps section. And if I press on Canva, it's going to then prompt me to log in. So I'm going to press connect. It's going to ask me for what permissions I would like to give to it. Make sure you read this through. Press connect to Canva and check what you'd like to connect. This down here, I've got select a team and I can select, do I want it to connect to my White Deer account? Do I want it to connect to anything else? I'm just going to select White Deer here. Make sure you're okay with ChatGPT and Canva AI being allowed to do all of these things. I personally am, because Canva AI is already pretty much reaching so much of my stuff already. Then I'm going to press allow. This is now going to tell you authorization has been successful, and then you can wait for the little loady button to pop up and it says Canva is now connected. If you ever need to disconnect it, just head back to sources and disconnect the Canva app right there. I'm going to click out of this and start doing my design. Now for me, I want to use the benefits of ChatGPT here. So if you are unaware, Canva already has a built-in designer in it. But the benefit of connecting it with ChatGPT is ChatGPT can do a lot of the groundwork for you so you don't have to do the thinking first. So say for example, I have a program called the Co-Creation Design Club and I want to create a pitch deck to send to some people to say, hey, I think you should join this program. So what I'm going to do is actually go to my club website and I'm going to copy this URL and say, ChatGPT, can you please read up on this? Now, ChatGPT, because I use it all the time, does actually know quite a lot about the club, so I may not have to do this. And that's something to say too, is if you are already inside a conversation with ChatGPT, you don't have to start a new chat. If you're already working on some social media posts, you're already working on a program with it, just continue on that conversation. I've started a fresh one today, but you totally don't need to. So I might say to ChatGPT, All right, so I've written create a pitch deck I can send to a potential client, letting them know the perks and about the Co-Creation Design Club. Make it inspiring, exciting, and give them everything they need to know in order to be able to join. Please read this webpage to learn all about it. So I've given it this prompt, and so this can be anything. So if you're asking for a social media post or for a freebie, start your conversation however you would normally do that in order to get ChatGPT to create some really great information for you. Now, at this point, it's going to bring out a lot of different pieces of information here. This is looking quite good, but at this point, please, at this point, do your refining. Don't try to do the refining after it's done the designing, because that sucks. I want you to do any text refining from this. So make sure you have a look through here, and if you have any changes, make those changes. So for me, I might say, so I've just said, this is great. Please keep everything as is, because I do like the overall flow of this, but remove any M dashes because I don't like it when it uses M dashes, and any corporate sounding language, and replace accordingly. All right, so I'm going to set that prompt off, and then we'll hopefully refine what we've got here. All right, so it's now done that, and it's asking, would you like me to turn this into an editable Canva pitch deck? Do not just say yes, because it will not do it. You need to now connect Canva to this to let it know. So, and before we do that, I need to make sure that everything is perfect. And just so you know, it's said in here, because I've asked it in the past, use my purple, which the hex code is this, and use my font Poppins. When I've asked it to do that, it doesn't actually do it. So feel free at this point to say, I'm just going to say, make sure it uses this exact text as you've written above, because I've done past tests of this and it seems to kind of take a little bit of creative freedom and takes away some of the stuff. And I'm like, you had some great stuff here. Why are you starting from scratch? So just make sure you're reminded of that. And at this point, you might want to give it any instructions around your branding. So it's not going to be able to pick up your own brand elements or your own brand logo or your own brand fonts or anything, to be honest. But even just giving it a couple of instructions of like, make it purple or make it feel playful, just so that it's kind of heading towards the right direction. And then after that, we're going to take it and edit it later in Canva. I'm going to press this little plus, this little arrow to make it go, and it's going to start, oops. So what I've forgotten to do the step I was going to tell you to do. I'm going to stop this, press stop. And what I forgot to do is the most important step, which is edit. I'm going to actually just delete that. I'm going to go back down here, press the plus button and press more and select Canva. You need to select Canva or it's not going to design in Canva. So before you ask it to actually make the design, even though it said, do you want me to make the design for you? You've got to make sure you actually connect Canva to it. And we've already done that by connecting the source. So if you haven't done that yet, you do that now. You press more and select Canva. And then it's going to think, oh, okay, cool. Now I can use the Canva AI to do this. Press plus, press the up arrow, and it will submit that design. You can see it saying connecting to app, and it's going to start doing some design. So it's going to show some gray boxes here for a little while. You can see there's 4 options there, or this one seems to have 5. I'll be interested to see if it produces 5. Sometimes mine is glitched and had like 2 rows of boxes here. Either way, it's usually going to create for you 4 different designs for you to choose from. Now, while it's doing this, it's actually creating and generating images. It's creating and generating text. It's doing quite a lot of work. So be patient while it's doing this. It will save you a lot of time in the long run. It's now produced some designs for me. Now, a few things to note about these. They're usually going to be quite generic and cookie cutter. I've done this test about 4 times with this same kind of prompt, and it's always produced the same kind of designs. And so you've got some options here. But at this point, what you can do is preview them. So it's given you 4 options, but obviously I can't see inside them right now. So to see inside them, I can click on the design, and it's going to open it up as a full screen. And you can then see, I can then scroll down here and see how everything is looking overall. Now I can see it hasn't followed my instruction of using that exact text because that's not all there, which is a little bit annoying, but it has given me a really great start. So I'm going to swipe through and see which one I prefer the most. Some of them use a little bit of different text. So you can kind of go through and see which one aligns most, especially with your text goals. Because sometimes even just copy and pasting text into a design is what takes you the longest. So even if this takes out that step, then you've come a long way. And so it probably hasn't added all of my text in because it knows that a general pitch deck might not give all of that text. It might say, you should put these in the notes. But in essence, it's given me a really good start. Now, there's a thing I want to mention here that Canva reckons it can do, but I don't think it can. It says that when you click open a design like this, before you open it up in Canva, you can give it some tweaks. So if I was to say, change the headline to get real results. If I were to press go on this, it's going to have a bit of a think. And it's probably going to tell me, oh, we should do this. What page would you like this on? So you can see it hasn't actually changed the design, even though it says that it has. And sometimes I've asked it to change things. I'm going to even show you. I've gone in here at a past option of this and said, can you please edit the text in option 2 to be more friendly and inviting, because the overall text of the whole pitch deck felt a bit off. And then it was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. Do you want me to do this or this? And I was like, option 1, please. And it said, should I do this or this? And I was like, just do this. And then it said, do you want me to do this, this, and this? And I was like, yes, can you please just do it? And then it just kept on saying what it was going to do, but never actually doing it. And I said, I kept on saying it. And then I said, can you actually edit the design, or are you just talking the talk? And it was like, oh, I can actually edit design. I was like, do you want me to do it now? I was like, yes, I do want you to do it now. And it said, I'd love to, but I don't yet have permission to make live edits inside your Canva design. So just so you know, make sure if you're getting this, it's not you, it's ChatGPT and Canva. So at this point, let's go back to our slides. Say we like these ones, then what I can then do when I've got a design I'm marginally happy with, I would then press open in Canva, and that's now going to open the design literally in my Canva, and it's going to be totally editable for me, which is a win. So you can see this is now here. And so you could do this for a social media post or a freebie or anything like that, but it's going to have some severe limitations, but I think it's a really great start. So this is now like you've got a kind of a customized template pack that's not customized to your brand, but is customized to your text. So now I need to go through and change it to my branding. So I'm going to go through and do that for you so you can see how quickly it is to apply your branding when you have your branding to a design that's already had the bulk of the work done. So I'm going to click on this heading here. This is Georgia Pro. This is not my font at all, but I'm going to go into my brand kit, select on Poppins, select extra bold, because that's what I do. And then before I click out, I'm going to press change all. So it's saying every time Georgia Pro is used, do you want me to swap it to Poppins? Yes, I do, because then I don't have to change it individually on each slide. And you can see now that if I tick over to slide 2, it's now updated this to Poppins. Similarly, I'm going to do that with my text here. So my subheading or body text is currently Helvetica World. I'm going to change that to Poppins, and again, press my change all button. And that's now changed it over all of the different slides. I click here, this is all in Poppins, which is looking already more on brand. Similarly, I'm going to do the same thing with the colors. So if I click on this background color, this actually is looking pretty close. Let's see. Yes, it had actually picked up my brand color. So feel free to specify your brand color and it will do an okay job. For me, this dark purple is not my brand color. So I'm going to change that to being my purple brand. I'm going to hit change all, and it's going to change again that dark purple across all the slides to my dark purple. Now this page here has got a slightly more off color purple. I'm going to also change that to be my brand purple and press change all. So between all of that, I've now got my fonts and colors sorted. So now I need to go through, tweak the layout if needed, and add in some more imagery and branding. For me, I don't use pictures like this at all in my branding. My branding is much more focused on personal brand. So I'm going to delete that and insert a picture of me. Or if I wanted to, I could just drag in a picture of me. So for me, normally I insert a picture where I've got the background cut out and it's done more fancy layout. But to keep things simple today, I'm just going to go to my brand kit, scroll down to my photos, and add in maybe a picture of my branding kit and hover over here. And it's going to replace that into that frame that it had. Now I don't use these arrows at the moment, and you can see that I've made this text like so. It's cut it off. So I'm going to bring my text box out a little bit and just tweak the design now so that it actually looks good, because this is obviously just, it's a template. It can't be perfect. I'm going to put this to being slightly behind the picture to create some depth. Your invitation to collaborate is fine, I guess. And for me, I also have brand elements. So I might go over to my graphics tab in my brand kit. I might change my background color to being this kind of gradient texture that I often use. I might change that background color to being a lighter color. And I might add in some of my branding elements, which could be a little bit of this. And I also use some little butterflies. I'm going to do that. Pop in the butterfly. And then that design, like, honestly didn't take me very long because it had it started. So I'm going to go through to my next slide and do the same thing. So for me, I want to add in my brand background. Just drag that in, replace the background, right click, replace background. And I might change these images. For me, I wouldn't normally use so many images, so I'm actually going to delete them. When I delete the image, it just leaves the frame there, so I need to press delete twice to remove the whole frame. And then I'm going to change the hierarchy here. So is your brand holding you back? That's really, really great. I'm going to make this a little bit bolder. I'm going to change this kind of text to fill out more of the design. So this design is going to group your text boxes together. So if you're finding that annoying, just press ungroup and you can move each of these around separately. So I'm going to make all of this just a little bit larger. I like having large text in slides because they're often viewed quite far away. Maybe delete the arrow. Bring all of this in from the edges a little bit because it's feeling a bit cramped. And then I might add in another photo of me because that's often what I share in my branding. Click to insert, drag it over here, press the background mover because that's a lot of the style that I use. Make this a little bit larger. And for me, for example, because I know my branding, I often use some different butterfly and retro kind of elements. So I might add something like that in to the brand to make it feel more, or to the slides to make it feel more on brand. And I often use a little doodle underline. So I'm going to type that in too. And so while I still have a few edits to do, that process was a lot quicker than me having to go back, copy and paste to really think about the hierarchy. Like this already had, if you've learned from me before, I often teach hierarchy, which is this idea of that you can direct your audience's eye around the graphic. And oftentimes a big mistake DIYers make with their designs is having all of your text a very similar size. So this is quite clear. Is your brand holding you back? That grabs attention first, and then we go down to the cost of first impressions, and we go down to the next section. I didn't have to think of any of that. Canva and AI did that for me, which is really, really helpful. So I would then go through and edit all of these slides to suit my branding. I would change these to be a different kind of layout a little bit, add in some more photos, tweak the layout a little bit. But beyond that, there's a lot that's already been done for me. And so you can go through your slides, tweak things as needed, and you are pretty much done. And so I'd love to know, what are you going to do with this design? Obviously, the world is your oyster. Are you going to do social media posts or a freebie design or a slide deck like me today? Having that capability of having ChatGPT that already knows your business, already knows your brand, already knows the kinds of things you're building in your business, and then being able to connect that to Canva and create an editable design that you can just make a few more tweaks to, it's going to save you so much time. So I'd love to know in the comments, let me know how you're going to try to use this first, and then feel free to check back in and let me know how you go. Make sure you connect Canva as a source. And before I let you know what we're going to chat about next week, I want to let you know that I have a free masterclass just for business owners like you who are wanting to make sure you have a really robust brand and use Canva really strategically. I haven't shown you exactly how to use Canva today. I've done things quite quickly because otherwise I'd be here for an hour, but I do have more to teach you. I want to teach you the design mistakes that are making your designs look amateur. I want to teach you Canva shortcuts that are going to save you hours. I want to take you through a live design of a social media post so that you can actually start designing graphics strategically for your own business in half the time, if not quicker. And so if you want to watch that free masterclass, just head to the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen now. It's the Design Tools to 100K online, and it is a wonderful masterclass, and I hope to see you there. Make sure you subscribe to not miss my next tutorial, which is going to be talking about how you can use ChatGPT to connect with your Canva and help you summarize, help you find data, help you write copy quicker because it's connected to all these past things that you've already put together. It is honestly my favorite, even more so than what I've chatted with you today about. So I can't wait to share it with you. All right, I'll see you then. Bye.